Hey there friends, how's it going? Richard here, and in this video I'm going to walk and share with you, generally speaking, what you can expect to pay for charging an electric vehicle here in the New York City area. There's going to be lots of different things that may impact what you're paying for electric vehicle charging. Here in the New York City area, a lot of us are tied to like Con Edison for electric service and delivery. And so one of the big selling points of moving from a traditional gas vehicle over to an EV is that you're going to save money on versus refueling versus gas. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what that looks like, and you can make a decision for yourself whether or not you are in fact saving money. So again, like I said, I live in Queens. Just to give you a heads up as to like what the setup is, I don't have anything special. So one family house, there's a garage, there's like a regular 115 volt outlet in the garage that I plug into. I have like the mobile charger. Just plug into, you can use that outlet to charge your cell phone. You can use it to charge or to plug in a flashlight, a drill. You can use it to charge an electric vehicle. So that's what I do every night. I get home, plug in the vehicle, and then by the time I wake up, that's probably I get home like 6:30ish, 7. And then when I get out the door in the morning at 8:15, generally like to have my vehicle recharged to about 80. I set it to 85%. That's generally what happens. I don't have a Tesla home charger. I don't have any other like hardware, a special EV charger at home. Just plug it into a regular outlet. And some people are like, well, what does that look like in terms of charging? Generally speaking, what I'll say is think about it like when you're plugging into a regular outlet, you're recharging at the rate of like 1 kilowatt per hour, something like that, 1% per hour, something like that, right? And so, you know, if I get home with 70%, I know that in the morning I guess the battery warms up as it's charging, so it probably increases at some points like 1.5% per hour. So I'll usually wake up in the morning at the 85%. So that's what it's looking like in terms of the charging. I don't have, again, anything specific in terms of hardware, just plugging into a regular outlet with the Tesla mobile charger that at least used to come with the vehicle. So this is what you're looking at right now. Again, my house is serviced by Con Edison, and they have a program called Smart Charge. I think let me not say all utilities, but many utilities are offering incentives if you have an electric vehicle to charge at home. And Smart Charge is a program that Con Ed came out with a couple years ago. And so the way it works is that to incentivize you to charge during the off-peak hours of like midnight to 6 a.m., they'll reimburse you or send me a rebate, basically cash over Venmo, of a couple dollars per month. Usually it's on average like $15 per month. I'll get back as a rebate for the amount of charging that gets done during that window. I don't specifically charge it during that window because, again, it's not going to get me to the 80% that I want. I could set like a timer to do that at night, but again, I want to make sure that I get my vehicle fully charged when I'm out the door in the morning. So I just plug it in as soon as I get home, and that's going to be, again, 6:30ish. And then when I head out in the morning at around 8:15, just unplugs. But in that window, that 12 to 6 window, this is what I'm being reimbursed or rebated by Con Ed. So that's the Smart Charge program. Let's just put that aside for now. What I did want to share with you is what the costs are. This is what I paid for charging my Tesla Model Y over the month to month. And what this averages out to be is 27 cents per kilowatt hour. As you can see, May so far, 351 kilowatt hours, costing me 77 bucks. April, and I think I looked through the entire history here. I charged the most in April. I did drive quite a bit out of state in April. Spent $127 charging. March, 95 bucks. February, $105. The reason I share this is because think about if you're someone looking at this video considering purchasing an EV or making the switch to an EV, what you're spending in gasoline, right? I can confidently say that when I did drive a gas vehicle, I wasn't spending for the month $130. I was generally spending more with the amount of driving that I do. I'd probably say on average like $50 a week with gas. If I'm saving, $75 to $100 per month, I'm approaching like 50% savings versus gas by charging at home. That's the trick here. For a lot of people, especially in the New York City area, charging at home isn't an option. And I feel you, I was there. The last place we lived at, it was an apartment building. I parked my car on the street, and then like twice a week, I'd had to go recharge at a supercharging station near me. But I get it, like charging at home, this is what you're paying. What you may be paying may be different. If the house you live in has like solar panels, obviously like that's going to be huge incentive or reduction in what you're paying for electricity, or whatever utility provider you may have where connected to your property. what they're charging for not just the electricity, but then there's like delivery charge, service charge, blah 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 charge. Do you want to use like water power, etc., etc.? But anyways, giving you a sense of what that may look like if you were considering getting an electric vehicle, and then if you had the capacity to charge it at home, what you may be paying. So hopefully you found this helpful. Now, what I did also want to compare this to is, again, the big selling point, one of the big selling points of electric vehicles is that you save money versus the pump, right? Paying for gas, you're going to pay this much, and then paying for charging your vehicle is going to pay this much. This is what I'm looking at to drive my vehicle every month. So let's just say on the high end, I'm spending $130 per month, right? Obviously, like when you look at this, I'm spending less to generally charge at home. But if you were just solely relying on public chargers, this is where the savings really shrink and get tight. Generally speaking, like superchargers, at least in the New York City area, the pricing is going to be somewhere to like 35 cents per kilowatt hour to about 43 to 45, sometimes 47 cents per kilowatt hour. Tesla has also rolled out in a lot of areas like off-peak charging versus on-peak charging. And so if you're able to charge during those off-peak hours, you're paying less. If you're going to charge during the middle of the day, you're paying the most. At home, I'm paying 27 cents per kilowatt hour to charge the vehicle. If I was on the road, again, just on average, just to give you a sense, this is Hewlett. For non-Tesla EVs, you're paying 48 cents per kilowatt hour, up to 55 cents per kilowatt hour to charge a vehicle. For Tesla vehicles, it's going to be, again, 35 cents per kilowatt hour, I think, up to about 43 cents per kilowatt hour, I want to say. So at least home versus public charging, I'm saving about 20 cents per kilowatt hour. But as you can see, that means that the cost of, like if we were to do this real quick, 351 point, they're doing math in real time, times, let's just say it was during regular business hours, right? Times point, let's just say 43 cents per kilowatt hour. That's $151. So double what I'm paying, almost double, right? What I'm paying versus charging at home. And as you can see, like the savings versus gas, if you're just solely relying on public chargers, decreases pretty quickly. If you're using something like Electrify America, for instance, same kind of thing. Their rates are comparable to Tesla's, and sometimes you got to have like a session initiation fee, other fees as well that you may have to pay when you're charging. So hopefully you found this helpful if you are considering getting an electric vehicle. If you have the capacity to charge at home, that's where the real savings are. I will say this, I still believe you save versus gas if you're just solely relying on public chargers. I can say that when I had my Tesla Model 3 and I was just charging here at JFK, I was saving versus gas. At least that's the way I felt like I was saving money. I wasn't spending as much money charging as I was when I was paying for gas with my prior vehicle. But quickly, like if you're just solely relying on public facing chargers, the savings dissipate really quickly. So I would highly recommend, if you do have the ability to charge at home, you can use a regular outlet, you can charge at home. There are incentives available. But if you are thinking about getting an electric vehicle and you're just relying on public facing chargers like Supercharger stations or Electrify America, just know that the savings that everyone's broadcasting or advertising are going to be like slim pickings versus paying for gas. That's just the way it is, and these are the numbers. Anyways, hopefully you found this informative. Love to know your comments or drop them below. Thoughts on this video. And if you are considering getting a Tesla, switching over to an EV, make sure to use a referral code. Hopefully my referral code. Why? Every so often, particularly every quarter, Tesla changes up. They have this like the referral program. Every quarter they'll change up the perks. Right now they're giving 3 months of full self-driving complimentary when you purchase a new Tesla. So again, if you're thinking about getting the Model Y, dope. You'll get 3 months of full self-driving included. Sometimes they have like cash discounts, like $500 off the purchase. For some vehicles, it might be like $1,000 off. So these things change every so often, but be sure to use a referral code. Otherwise, if you make the purchase without using a referral code, you don't get the perk. And they won't give it to you if you like hit them up in the chat afterwards. Hey, I bought the vehicle, just want to see if I can get the perk. They won't give it to you. So you have to use a referral code. And again, love to know your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. And until next time, take care, be well. Bye for now.